Hello, good evening. Welcome. It's another date on Journalist Hangout. It's a Friday. Would you believe it? And I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, Edo Governor, former governor, I should say, Oshiomhole formally declares to run for APC national chairmanship position. UN debunks federal government's claims that Boko Haram had been defeated. National Judiciary Commission raises panels to probe 25 judges Judicial Commission over corrupt allegations and so on. Then health workers strike threatens air passengers Ebola screening. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Jide, I greet you. Welcome.
I greet you.
Here's a returning friend here. I have not seen him in a while. Wale is here. Wale, welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. And of course, Emeka Madunagu is here.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, viewers.
Now the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, then, just before we kick off, let's say it's cheering to have a gentleman come all the way from Borno State to share the moments at the studio here. I'm talking about a Mustafa Gana Amodu. He's an electrical engineer and he's fascinated by, I told him, some of the silly things we do here on this program. And so we want to say welcome. Thank you for the time. Thank you for allowing us invade your homes. Thank you. All right, Dan. Sometimes it becomes pretty difficult to determine that a man was not ambitious in the sense that he wanted to be good at his chosen field. The popular saying is that the worth of a man is not greater than his ambition. It is now official. Former Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole has declared his ambition to contest the post of APC national chairman. His taller ambition is to bring both the executive and legislative arms to a common ground. It's a tall order, Jide.
It's a tall order, and time really is not on his hands. I can see that Oshiomhole has already started work. Before being elected. Yes, he's already started work. He's had meetings with Wamako, had meetings with Tambua, he's spoken to Kwankwaso. He's talking to aggrieved people within the party. I think his own goal is to ensure that he does not inherit a fractured party. No doubt about it that the current leadership of the APC has not done well. Where the leadership needed to hold the party together, they just didn't do that. And led by Chief Oyegun, I think that in the end, when you look at the way Chief Oyegun ran the APC, one can safely say that Chief Oyegun was a mistake. Because today, APC...
You couldn't take everything away from him. He was chairman when the party came to power.
Yes. He was chairman when the party came to power. But under him, the party is fractured. There are at least factions of the APC in 13 states. And we have not seen any state that Chief Oyegun successfully reconciled the warring parties. If anybody knows anywhere, that person should tell me. Because on this program, we've said repeatedly that he needed to reconcile warring parties within the APC. He's failed spectacularly to do that. In Kogi, he has not called a single meeting.
They have listened to him.
He has not called a single meeting on record to try to bring people who are quarreling together. No, he's not done that. It's on record. Whatever we say, people are watching, people are listening to us. They will be able to challenge us when we lie. He has not been able to hold the APC together. And that is the biggest problem. Anybody coming in now as leader of that party, as chairman of that party, that is the biggest challenge that he has. And we have, today now, we are having world congresses. You had world congresses of the party that have further divided the party, that have further alienated members of the party. We talked about the problems, the fact that the party is fractured. The congresses have further exposed the underbelly of the party. And who organized the congresses? Who made sure that the congresses were skewed in favor of certain elements in the party to the anger of some other people? It's still the leadership. It's still the Oyegun-led leadership, because the leadership set up committees. The leadership nominated people that headed the Congress organizing committees. And what the Congress organizing committees do is, when they get to a state, they determine who they recognize as the authentic ESCO of the party. They determine who they work with.
Simply, Jide, big results at a time like this will require big ambitions.
It has to be, no doubt about it. And that's why Oshiomhole, I'm telling you, Oshiomhole has begun to hold meetings with the big people in the party. And I don't blame him. When a president endorses you as the chairman of the party, and the president has successfully got at least, out of 24 governors, at least 22 governors to safely be on your side, you are costing home.
Jide is not campaigning for Oshiomhole here.
No,
He's just.
I think the basis is get us be, because the reality is that you can't completely blame Oyegun for the mess in APC.
Yeah.
Yes. The reality is that the mess we have in our political parties is not just APC alone, it's also in PDP. Started in 1999 with former President Olusegun Obasanjo. If you cast your mind back to the Second Republic, the party was supreme. Shagari cannot give orders to Akinloye. It's not possible.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
We knew then, as we had all agreed.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not the question that I asked him.
No.
It has a lot to do with that. Because you are saying that the party got fractured under Oyegun and so on, forgetting the fact that the leadership in these states of the party is the governors. And the leadership at the national level, you just said it now, that the president has got support from 22 governors out of 24 for him.
Yes.
That is wrong. That is not even supposed to happen. The president is the baby of the party. So how can the president be acting as the father of the party? It is the party.
Is that why the party has been in crisis for 3 years?
You don't understand what I'm saying.
You're talking about something that happened 2-3 weeks ago?
That's what I'm talking about. That the basis, the foundation for democracy itself in such a polity as ours, considering the kind of system we've adopted, it is not the president who should dictate who should be the national chairman of the party.
Sometimes, just a minute.
So you need to give Oyegun some
last
slack
week
there.
we agreed, and Jide said yes to it. Before now, the state, the president was not the leader of the party. You talked about the Second Republic.
The Second Republic.
But I'm saying,
Obasanjo started in 1999, and all the other political parties, the major parties,
you are not
adopted
saying,
that position.
was the Obasanjo the one that set the rules? No.
No, you don't understand. It's a body language thing. The president doesn't want. Do you know many PDP chairmen Obasanjo
people said that Buhari didn't take charge of the party, that he let the leaders do what they like. And at the time when the party now began to sink, the president had to now take charge of the party. That's what people wanted him to do, because he led these people. What happened in the Senate? He led them to conduct their election. He didn't show interest.
Emeka, okay, let's take it away from what they are telling us. Now, let me quote Adams Oshiomhole. He says, quote, "I want to be of help. I want to be of use to all those who need it, but I'm not capable of being used." Of course, this is not to take anything away from him. I'm not capable of being used.
No, that is just, he's just playing to the gallery.
Okay.
The kind of politics we play in Nigeria, there's a limit.
You must get used.
Yes, you'll be used, or else you'll be dumped.
You'll be dumped.
If you don't allow yourself to be used, you will be dumped. Because why? There is the same problem Oyegun is facing.
You will now choose who uses you. You will choose who uses you wisely.
If you have an option.
If you have
an option.
Then wait now, let me explain. If you get used by all comers,
choose you
then
whom you will serve.
No.
Choose you.
That is it.
Whom you will serve.
That is the point that I'm telling him now, that you should not be used by all comers. When you have a leader who gets used by all comers and he sides with injustice, there will be no progress. There will be no progress. So allow you can be used, but choose who uses you wisely.
No, but Oshiomhole is saying that nobody can use him. So I tried to debunk that.
That's what, and I added an
but the other thing is this. Oshiomhole too has not been fair to Oyegun. He didn't show the necessary, comradeship. He's a comrade. He's comradeship to Oyegun. Throughout all the while that Oyegun has been chairman, Edo State, the APC in Edo State, the government in Edo State has not shown that friendliness to Oyegun. Last year, there was a reception for Oyegun. I think it was in September or so. And then it was just maybe a member of the House of Assembly that attended the reception. The governor wasn't there.
Is that what will have made him a better national leader?
I'm coming. The governor was not there. I'm coming. The governor was not there. Deputy governor, the speaker, and all that.
Deliberately?
Now, deliberately.
Of course.
Oh, of course, deliberately. Now, what am I trying to say? Charity begins at home. You see, if Oshiomhole is now coming to say he has his own agenda, he will not be used by anybody. He will reunite the party. Good. But the question to ask is this: how much support did you give Oyegun to achieve, the aim of making APC a great party? You see, it's easy.
Considering, Emeka, that he was a successful, if you like, debate it, trade unionist.
Trade unionism is different from politics. Because politics...
There's no element of politics in trade unionism.
Partisan politics. Partisan politics is different from trade unionism.
Okay.
Partisan politics is a 24-hour thing. If you close your eyes in Nigerian politics,
You're gone.
you are gone. So your eyes must be open, your ears must be open in Nigerian politics. So what I'm trying to say is this. I'm trying to link it to something that Oshiomhole should also realize that if he didn't help his kinsman, his first citizen of Edo, to succeed, there are also those who are going to help him to fail. Yes, I like, no, it's not about getting there. You see, the money shows the day. The money shows the day.
But by the way,
that time has not come.
Emeka Wale and
don't make people think you are a doomsday prophet.
No, it's not about being a doomsday. I want to add something.
The picture must not be painted that you are already assuming that Oshiomhole will get it. Please.
No, well, that's one thing I also want to correct. I want to correct that notion. That he's meeting with people, it's on an individual basis, as a concerned member of the party.
He's not the chairman
he's
yet.
not the chairman of the party.
Right.
So he cannot appropriate powers that don't belong to him. That was what Wale was trying to
you can meet, even if you want to become a governor, you want to contest election.
Yeah,
Stakeholders. Stakeholders in the place where you are contesting. You will meet them.
But I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it clear that.
And he also needs them to vote for him. He also needs
that
them.
means he's on campaign.
He's doing two things.
He's not taking over the role of
Oyegun. No, Oyegun is a passing face already. You cannot
conclude.
Hold on. He is meeting with those people.
He's on his own. He is personally. On his personal,
It's personal. Are you cannot take a bet with me or what?
No, it's not taking a bet.
Okay, now what I'm saying is,
we are supposed to be dispassionate.
Yes.
The election has not come. Let's be neutral.
See, now you see, when I come here, you ask me for my opinion. My opinion, I speak straight from my heart. It's not a matter of, I have to be dispassionate. I'm not writing a story.
The election is not until...
is it June or so now?
Please.
Hold on. Leave these two guys alone. See, wait now. This thing, the man is doing two things.
I wish to show money well.
He's doing two
but
things.
The right things
Let me tell you, he's doing two things at a time. He needs to meet those people because they matter in the party. Those big people.
Of course.
The worst thing that will happen, they matter.
Meeting them as who?
He's meeting them because he needs them for the election, one.
Okay.
Then if eventually he wins the election, you can use you know the words that I'm using carefully. If. I didn't say when. I didn't say when.
If you said when, I would also tell you.
So you want me to say when?
No. Even in the whole of this thing that you're talking about.
If hold on, let me wait now. No, we will come to that. Don't jump the gun.
Okay.
We will come to that. It's NPDP is your interest. The thing is, when he wins that election, or if he wins, you see, you confuse me. If he wins that election, he will need those people. To work with him.
Sure.
So, and the worst that can happen to them is that you can imagine. You see now for APC, if a Tambua leaves, a Wamako leaves, a Kwankwaso leaves.
But there are other people like Shekarau.
And Oshomole
You
stuff.
see, yeah, on those big people, when they leave, you know that you are inheriting, I won't say a cadaver, but you are inheriting what looks like a carcass. And that's the worst thing that you will want to see happen to you. Because it needs all those big people around him. So that's why he's doing two things at a time, meeting those people. In case I win, I will need your support.
Wale,
I don't want to be like the man who was there before me.
So we put it down to
Again,
campaign. He's
Jide
campaigning.
says he's speaking from
Two
his heart.
things. Two things. I'm
Jide
confessing
is
to
speaking-
two things.
Jide is speaking from his heart, gentlemen. But I know he has no heart palaver. So his heart is...
That's why my heart is very active.
But do you know of any other aspirants to the office?
That is the tragedy.
Is it key here
That is,
in
that
this
is the
debate?
tragedy of
Maybe it's
our
going to
politics
draft
right
someone.
now. Because what I expect somebody of Jide's caliber to be talking about is not just about Anna Oshiomhole, who is being pushed by the presidency, who is being pushed by some other people. For God's sake, the major thing we need
Don't swear. Go
no, to push this young democracy forward, to make it grow. You understand? Internal democracy is very, very key.
What was
There
it-
should be, like you rightly said, there should be other people showing interest in the national chairmanship position. For God's sake.
Wale, was the
Not just one person.
Was the Ekiti ugly show avoidable?
Very, very avoidable.
Very, very avoidable.
Okay.
Very, very avoidable.
so
It's based on
it is the
same
chairman?
thing. Yeah, no, not just the
No,
chairman.
not the chairman.
Okay. Not just the chairman. There are some people in the state that APC are not controlling who pocketed the structure of the party, just like the governors in the states where APC is in office pocketed the structures of the party. And that is wrong for internal democracy. Because you see a lot of people coming out for such positions because they don't have confidence in the party leadership, not just at the national level, also at the state level. You understand what I'm saying? If they have confidence in the party leadership, they know that if you fail to secure one position, you will be compensated with another or some other things. They will do it on the basis of fairness, so that if you cannot get this, you get that. Or sometimes you don't even need to hold the position. Things will come to you. Whatever you feel should come to you naturally will come to you. But if you don't belong to that block that controls the structure, end of story.
All right, let's be fair to Oshiomhole. He says Oyegun's place in history is assured as the man under whose leadership the party came to power. Okay, so, but he says the party needed a new leadership. Speaking from both sides of the mouth.
Yeah, sure. He's a politician. He's a Nigerian politician.
I disagree with you, Emeka, on
No,
that.
Nigerian politicians speak from both
not
sides
all
of the
Nigerian
mouth.
politicians, no. I
Hold
disagree.
on.
The typical Nigerian politician.
Not typical. You
The
say,
standard Nigerian politician.
Please, gentlemen, we have provoked a viewer. He's
I
calling
disagree
from
with you.
London. Hold on. Let's take you to London. Olamide is waiting. How are you, sir?
Yeah, Olalekan from UK.
Olalekan. Let's go, sir.
All right, Mr. John. My contribution is, Babajide, I think, is on the right. The two men, the man in the middle and Emeka, they are not be sincere because Oyegun has let down the APC completely.
Your opinion, your own opinion.
And that's it.
Where I know this is John, it's just a common thing. It's obvious. He's taking a side. He's biased chairman. So there's no need to be hiding, you know. And Emeka and the other man, that man wearing the cap, they are
Not
not
that man.
sincere.
He is Wale.
So,
Olalekan is Wale. Not that man. Let's go.
Yes, Wale is not be sincere, you know. So it is
member
good
of
for
APC.
party, the president to come up, to realize that he needs somebody to help him to unite the party.
Thank you, Olalekan. Except that Emeka says he's not a member
of
of
APC.
I don't know if Wale is.
I'm not even an
not like
Oyegun
that, no.
loyalist. I'm not.
I don't
But
belong
let's
to
begin to
APC
take
or
this
Labour.
home. Let's begin to take this home. Okay. We are all in agreement. The party needs a new direction, a new leadership, a new impetus. And so, sentimentally, Oshiomhole will bring that to be.
That's what I would expect, because the way it is now, the party is like a rudderless ship at sea. The party has lost its soul. The impunity, the level of impunity that we see in APC now is probably worse than what we saw at in the years of the PDP. So the party has to be refocused. It has to be refocused in such a way that the constitution of the party, the rules guiding the party will be taken seriously. Because right now, look at the congresses that they've had. No guiding rules, nothing. Governors were just doing what they liked. Any party that wants to survive should not allow the sort of brigandage, political brigandage that we saw during the congresses to continue. So the party needs a new leader, a new broom that will refocus it. That's what I think they should do.
As they say in my Ibibio country, any small flood that needs life, gentlemen, must swim to a big river. Okay. All right, then, when we return, United Nations debunks federal government's claims that Boko Haram has been defeated. You must stay. All right, then, let's go on. A defeat of the Boko Haram insurgency would not only be cheering news, but would be an elixir for a breath of fresh air. When claims of that defeat is punctured or debunked, the sour taste in the mouth is nauseating and leaves somebody breathless. The United Nations Special Rep of the Secretary General, Dr. Ibn Mohammed Chambers, draws attention to the continued danger posed by sustained insurgency, more so to people in the Lake Chad region. To him, the campaign against this insurgency must be sustained. Couldn't agree more.
Yes, I agree absolutely with him, not just because this is what he said, what I had said repeatedly, but because the situation in the northeast, especially in the Lake Chad area, points clearly to the fact that, yes, we have degraded the enemy, but there's still a lot of work to do. Because when you imagine an enemy that we said we have defeated, leaving even Nigeria to go and attack an army base in the Difa region of Niger Republic, and stealing armored personnel carriers, killing Nigerian soldiers, and escaping with armored personnel carriers and gun trucks. What the implication is that enemy has become stronger, because those weapons make you naturally stronger. Yeah. When you still, even in the state, in that weakened state, once it successfully raids a military base and takes away multi-terrain vehicles, takes away APC, it has become even stronger than you thought it was. Yeah. And that was what happened. And after the attack on the army base in Difa, we've not read anywhere that those guys, as they were escaping, they were intercepted, and those APCs taken from them. Boko Haram is no longer just a Nigerian terrorist group. Boko Haram is active in Cameroon. It has cells in N'Djamena, it has cells in Niger Republic, and it's still active, especially in the Lake Chad area of Borno State. Those three local governments, Mate, Abadam, and Moba, they are still active. They still hold on to Nigerian territories in those areas. A lot of people will say, oh, there's no Nigerian community in Boko Haram's hands. They know they are lying because they hold on to those communities. And for the Nigerian army to say, see, we are launching what we call Operation Last Hope, beginning from May 1 to July 18, with the goal of finally destroying Boko Haram. That means that even the Nigerian army has admitted that this UN official was right, because they said we want to now totally destroy that. They've given themselves 3 months to do it. If the enemy was in a flattened state, you don't need 3 months to defeat an enemy that's already defeated. So they want to launch that offensive so that, one, they can now rescue the Chibok girls that are still left with them, and they can dislodge them from communities that they are holding now.
And break them. Wale, You know, Lafia Dole Theater Commander General Rogers Nicholas had announced the routing of Boko Haram insurgents in February this year. At that point, the man was speaking from information available to him.
I don't think so.
Yes, Ambisa.
In the military, it's not just in Nigeria alone. There's a lot of propaganda just to boost morale, to sustain morale, and to give the public a sense of hope. But what we normally tell them in public relations is that just like journalism would teach that facts are sacred, you don't tell lies in order to boost people's
But that comment is free.
You can spin it. No, you can spin it, but you cannot tell outright falsehood. They are in 3 local governments, or they are in 5 local governments, but man, they are so small, we are going to move on them very soon. Yeah. But you just don't come out and tell outright lies. But concerning what Chambers has said, I'm surprised that Chambers is even talking like this. Chambers was in ECOWAS. He was there during the Liberian, and I'm sure the Sierra Leonean, he knows about ECOMOG and things like that. What about Chambers and the others who were there at that time, moving in to assist those who don't have much experience now about what to do concerning Boko Haram? Why am I saying this? If you read the reports today from the US, there was an investigation about the American Special Forces soldiers who were killed in Niger Republic. The report just came out. The fact is, the drones that were supposed to follow those guys, give them information, eyes in the air, the drones were not deployed there. Moving there, they were supposed to have attack helicopters nearby. You understand? Immediately they were attacked. I think they didn't call for backup until maybe about 1 hour later or so. The French soldiers even got there ahead of their American counterparts. And like you were talking about vehicles being driven away, there are vehicles which the jihadists were taken away before, they had to abandon it and run, meaning that the French forces that came, they came on time. The challenge we have on our own, there are so many, but the major one is that our soldiers do not have the correct equipment for the kind of war we're fighting. I've not seen serious drone action here, and I've not seen serious helicopter action, because for some of our soldiers to be captured and beheaded, you know, because they come in mass. There are things we need which is not there, and that's where I'm particular about Chambers. For God's sake, there are ways they did in Liberia. If we do not have it now, we're just to move at that level of Liberia and Sierra Leone to this. It's so easy to do.
Wale,
they should build on these things.
His name is Wale.
Lives have been lost.
Dallas in Texas. Can we take Wale? Yeah. Your namesake?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Wale, let's get to hear you. Hello,
yes,
Wale.
Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? You're doing a fantastic job.
Welcome, sir.
Based on the Boko Haram issue, there's only one thing I've got to say. It's all about the motivation of the troops. If the army keeps lying about the progress of what is really going on ground, the motivation is going to be dead, because if you're lying to everybody about what the situation of things are, how do you motivate me to keep fighting when I know that even when I'm dead, there's not going to be any accountability? The people I'm leaving behind, are they going to be taken care of? Then at the same time, you keep allocating funds and all, but there's no progress. The number one thing the soldier needs is accountability and motivation. If I look around me and I see that my commander is not being truthful, he's not giving me the reason and resources to fight, there's no way that this war will be won. Thank you.
Many thanks. Emeka, quickly, Chambers insists that the Maiduguri Forum would establish more synergy than previous discourses and engagements. You believe in?
Guys, I just believe these guys are just holding conferences, drinking tea and coffee, while a serious problem is not being seriously attended to.
Shouldn't be as bad as this.
The basic fact of the matter is this. This insurgency has been internationalized. So what should happen is that the Nigerian government, in fact, the Nigerian government should lead the way, like Wale said, and play the ECOMOG card. What am I talking about, the ECOMOG card? The way Nigeria mustered a diplomatic offensive that dealt with the Liberian rebels You know, we need to muster that diplomatic offensive. It's not just about
the Sierra Leone
rolling troops. It's not just about rolling troops, rolling equipment. The rest of the world needs to put their imprint on this thing to deal with this thing. Otherwise, we'll just be going round and round and round and round. Okay, if you look at the breakdown of the Tucano, the super Tucanos, what we are going to bring them for, and I wonder, it's even beyond what the Americans are saying.
Tucanos are the aircraft.
Yeah, those super Tucanos. What we are going to use them for is even more than Boko Haram.
Exactly.
We are looking at using them to fight sea pirates. We are looking at using them to fight smugglers. What are we talking about? So you will fight Boko Haram here, and then you go to Niger Delta, fight people, you go here. So how long will those aircraft last? What we need is a solid diplomatic offensive. Now, let me say something. Look at how, I was reading something that
You are burying it. Time.
I was reading what somebody wrote about, you know, the general situation in the world, about the insurgency and all terrorism. And somebody was saying that if Nigeria can get Saudi Arabia to apply some of its reformist, you know, policies across the world, deny some benefits to people who sponsor these things, deny some benefit, even don't allow them to come to Hajj, don't allow them to, you know, get certain kinds of support.
We must go. Please continue the debate. That's the essence. As I always say, is to bring the topic, any topic to the table, dissect it, and allow you to draw the conclusion. We must move on. Corruption at the judiciary, however minute, is a great perversion of justice, of the course of justice in our jurisdiction. Suspicion of corruption at the temple of justice endangers confidence in the institution. The National Judicial Council is climbing the Everest, in a manner of speaking, by setting up investigative committees to probe 25 members of the bench. The landmark development is at the behest of the EFCC, Jide.
Yes, I think that the NJC is beginning to take seriously the matter of corruption in the judiciary. One reason the DSS carried out the raid that it carried out 2 years ago was because of the reluctance of NJC to purge the judiciary of corrupt elements. People write petitions against judges, EFCC will report judges, and the NJC will simply not act until it's probably too late to do so. So after the raid, it dawned on the NJC that, look, we need to look within and do something about the problem of corruption. Remember, even last week, this same, the CGN, who is the head of the NJC, was complaining about even leakage of judgments by court staff.
Yeah.
Because once the litigant is aware of the outcome, he can begin to pile pressure on the judge. And at the last minute, some judges will change their judgment. So corruption is in different phases. But we need to do something about judges that are already notorious for corruption, and we know them. You know, in the past, the NJC, there was a judge that the NJC upbraided for an unethical conduct. And what did the NJC say? The NJC said, well, because of this, you are going to be denied your next promotion. When she should have been shown the door. That same woman is currently on trial now, is facing trial, because the EFCC built up a case against her. What she did was, she ensured there was a case, an election matter before her. She ensured that for 4 years,
4.5 years,
that case was not decided, so that the tenure
and the offending party is...
Yes, that guy successfully served
out
his term, which is justice delayed and justice denied. So the NJC had not in the past done well in terms of purging its ranks of corrupt elements. And we've even seen cases of judges even taking the NJC to court. Taking the NJC to court and even defeating the NJC in court. So it's a big problem. We need the NJC itself to be refocused. Someone suggested some time ago that even a serving judge shouldn't head the NJC.
Exactly.
That a serving judge. But what do we have? It is the Chief Justice of the Federation.
You can't probe yourself.
You can't probe yourself. It is the Chief Justice of the Federation that is actually the head of the NJC.
Well, you know, at a time, it was debatable whether to have the jury system here, you know, and people said, no, you couldn't. The real people are not doing well, and then you bring the jury here, you know. This is further demarketing the country. The judiciary, as they say, the last hope of the common man.
No, as Jide mentioned earlier, I think that suggestion that probe of judges, for me, it's on two legs. I don't believe the judges should probe themselves. The thing should be left for the EFCC and other law enforcement agencies. Once the EFCC has built up cases against some people, you only need to inform the appropriate authorities as you are charging them in court. So EFCC already has an indictment against judges. What is it they are probing again? They don't need to probe anything again, no?
It's just to follow what the EFCC
exactly, not
has
just,
on paper.
Unless you are saying EFCC has not done a thorough job. If they have not done a thorough job, then let the courts, they are submitting the whatever to, let the court decide.
Did you see one judgment that purports to even demand the go-ahead from NJC before a judge can be picked up for corruption?
No, it's wrong. Once the law enforcement agencies have indicted someone based on investigation, based on facts available, the next thing is to take the person to court. That the NJC is setting up properly, forget it, it's not a revolutionary thing, it's not being active or whatever. To me, it's retrogressive. Those indicted by the law enforcement agencies should be charged in court. End of story. You don't need to submit anything to anybody again. It's like double.
Well, if you remember, there was this judge, there was a petition written against him in April. NJC refused to act. Then in October, after the judge now retired, they now came and said, "Oh no, that we had compulsorily retired."
Because it is the same people
why didn't you act on it?
It is the same people who are there now. They can't prove themselves.
When the man now left, you said no, you are there. He left because he heard that we were going to retire. Why did you waste that long?
Emeka, it is not impulsive to recall that Justice Michael Goji of Adamawa High Court has been recommended for compulsory retirement for wrongdoing. Is a retirement of an offending judge or justice enough? That's my question.
Should go to jail.
Well, we really need to look at the fight against corruption in the judiciary. It must be taken very seriously. I mean, compulsory retirement, directly answering your question, I don't think is enough because
the offense is there.
Yeah, a judge is like, metaphorically speaking, is like sitting in the place of God. He can, decide, sit over life.
Emeka, they say,
now, if
you want to know judges are powerful, look at a football match. His decision may be wrong at the end, though, but at the time he takes it, it is final.
Yeah, so judges must be seen to be true, honest, impartial officers at the temple of justice. Now, where there are breaches, verging on corruption, then we have a problem. But the other issue is this. The judiciary should actually find a way also to deal with certain lapses in its ranks. Like Jide said earlier, talking about leakage of court documents. There are certain things, even the way politicians...
Rulings and their decisions.
Yeah, the way politicians pile pressure on judges, pile pressure on judges, even government officials pile pressure on judges, come out, government officials come out openly to influence judges. Decisions. Even in the appointment of chief judges of states, we see a lot of politics in it. They pick people who are not necessarily competent, but who will do their bidding. We need to totally reform the system.
All right, we'll take you quickly to Kaduna. Francis is waiting. Francis, Samson, I'm told you have 30 seconds, if you can make it. Let's go.
Okay. Okay. I just the issue of the UN credit on health, what they said.
Samson, you know, taking us back is not helping us. You know, it's giving. Now, talk about this, the judges.
Okay. Okay, on the issue of the judges.
Yeah.
All right. One thing I would say here is regarding our judicial system. Like some of us, the younger ones or the upcoming youth, we are not really planning positive things from their judgment. Because you see today, they will take somebody to court. This judge will pass a particular verdict. This one will go and appeal, and tomorrow you see different dimension to.
And that's the problem. That's the problem here, Samson. Samson, time is very, very tight. Walid, let's bury this.
A judge who has messed up should not be retired. Such an offense, the punishment should be more than that of an ordinary individual because of the position that person occupies.
Thank you.
A judge who has been proven to be of unethical behavior, to have demonstrated unethical behavior, has to be shown the door, has to be dismissed, has to be disgraced.
Punished.
Disgraced.
Punishment is key. Not just dismissed.
Yes, go to jail.
Punish
yes,
the
go
crime.
to jail as well.
Yeah.
And then those who enable it to should be
Oh,
dealt
yeah.
with.
Oh, yeah. All right. Again, the debate must continue.
Yes.
But tell you this, the debate about the necessity of an industrial action is not easily winnable, especially in our country. But logicians would tell you that industrial strikes or actions can be necessary sometimes. An industrial action by workers in the health sector leaves one with more strands of gray hair. Now, screening of passengers at our airports has been hampered by downing of tools by belly-aching workers. Ebola screening is a grave risk here.
Yes,
What are we talking about?
What the health workers are doing amounts to brinksmanship. They've come up with a demand that the federal government finds difficult or even too absurd to meet, because they are saying that they should have pay parity with doctors. There's no government that will agree to that. Because one, we are talking about even pharmacists and other lower cadre officers in the health sector. So their population is way higher than that of doctors. So if you are saying that they should pay you what they pay doctors, the wage bill will balloon to the level that government cannot manage. Not only that, doctors have now come out to say, if you yield to this pressure, then we too will go on strike. It's a terrible thing that is happening. They are now saying, now they've asked state branches of JOESU to join the strike, just because government has not listened to them. They said, okay, state chapters should join the strike. They are now saying that there are people who will not be involved in Ebola screening at the airports or the entry points into our country, which is terrible. You will remember that Ebola killed more than 11,000 people the last time. And the World Health Organization particularly praised Nigeria for the way Nigeria, led by Lagos State, handled the Ebola outbreak at that time. So, but what are we facing now? If people can come into our country and our health workers are saying no, they will not be involved in screening people because they are on strike, then it means that we are wide open. We are really wide open. We are at risk as a country.
I won't talk about the Hippocratic oath here, Wale, because it's tedious. I saw it and I was wondering if I could have been a doctor. But we are saying, as a health worker, your job is key. It's an essential service. And look at the timing.
No, but beyond being an essential service, see, the category of unionists you have today, don't let me use the usual words.
Don't use it.
It get as it be with
well.
them. Because in a country where most states are struggling to pay salaries, in a country where a lot of things are not okay, you are making demands that hardly make normal sense. You know, that's why I said it get as it be. If I'm a state governor right now, and people who are not supposed to be on strike, you understand, we talk to them, they don't reason. For God's sake,
No
it
work,
is those,
no pay.
it's not a question of no work, no pay now. It's to disengage you end of story. There are so many people on the streets who want jobs now. You understand? Because some of these governors are trying. That's why the fact that they cannot pay, they still keep a lot of them in their service, and yet you still want to go on strike. It doesn't make sense. Because you are in an economy that is struggling to survive, yet you are bringing all kind of unnecessary conditions. The challenge is that the top echelon of such workers
You
union,
think this is orchestrated?
that is where I'm going to.
Go there,
The top echelon of such workers' union is either they are being used by disgruntled elements to foment crisis, because as Jide rightly pointed out, there is a crisis of international dimension, which just one person breaking into Lagos, for instance, with Ebola, you know how many people die in this state? And you are saying because of some things, I mean, it shows that it's either they are being used or those who are organizing this strike, there's something strong.
Emeka, this has nothing to do with this syndrome. It is not my portion, you know. It involves everybody at this point in time.
For me, beyond strikes, I think government needs to rejig the health policy. You should have an army of volunteers, youths. There are a lot of unemployed youths. Have a large army of volunteers. So if there's any crisis...
Declare an emergency.
If there's any crisis, like after September 11, the U.S. drafted a lot of people, a lot of young people, as volunteers in different areas. So you can draft a lot. You have a lot of young people who are willing to serve the nation, at least for this period. You declare an emergency, you draft in the volunteers to the airports, you know, to the seaports and all those entry points, the borders, to screen people coming into the country. While you're still negotiating with the health unions, you do not leave the door wide open. Because if anything happens to Nigerians, if Ebola gets into this country and people die, you're not going to be able to bring those people back. So there is no kind of excuse you give about, okay, health workers were on strike, or this. I believe beyond all the negotiations and all that, we should have an army of volunteers, young people. You see, a lot of state governments, like Lagos State, they've done very well in terms of primary health care. They've done well in terms of primary health care. That's even one of the things that helped us defeat Ebola. So we should go beyond that. Bring in youths, young people, to come into the system as volunteers. You know, they will always be there. Just like you have reservists in some countries like Israel.
But in some areas,
you know?
some sectors, you need expertise, which they may
I
not
agree. No, yes. I agree
That's
with
why
that.
sometimes they call for states to just
ordinarily, you know, ordinarily, at least, talking about screening, you know, you don't really need too much expertise, you know, to screen people who are coming in. That's what I'm talking about. So when we have things like this, emergencies
if the screening is compromised, it's as good as not doing anything.
Yeah.
No, but of
we
course,
have to be careful.
that's why I said we should rejig our health
Gentlemen, we're
policy.
all in agreement that you have a better way of resolving issues.
Without putting all of us at risk.
Yeah. You know,
putting all of us at risk.
In government now, there are your colleagues in government who have been elected, who have been appointed. You're going to approach them to push your case.
Wale, I know I have faith in God, but I can't play him. If there's a crisis, there's a crisis, and God expects us to use our brains.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. But just before we go, I told you about a brother, Mustafa Ghana Amodu. Please come, let the camera pick you. And the gentleman had to come all the way from Maiduguri by road. Is it by road or by air? Please, you came by air.
Thank you.
Wale is the resident president. He'll take care of you.
See the resident president.
Thank you. So you say you find what sometimes silly things we do here useful.
It's not silly, actually.
Okay.
You are doing a very remarkable job. What seriously, I don't need to read the papers or if I just want to know what's happening in Nigeria.
These are newspaper boys. They won't like that.
I just want you guys, because I know you guys.
Good to meet you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Citizen
you.
Jones,
Thank you.
Babajide, Kolade Otiteju, Wale, Emeka,
Greet our...
I wish
you said
it was
Eshegun,
Wale
right?
Emeka.
No, I just mentioned, I just
You
called
said
them.
Wale Emeka. That's your new name.
So greet our people in
greet-
Borno State for us. I understand that we have many fans in Borno State, and he's one of them.
Okay.
Loyal fans of journalists Hangout.
One of these days, you bring them here.
So we should say Kilewa to you, right?
Okay.
Kilewa.
Clear is fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you say Kilewa later.
Say, you 10 seconds, talk to your people. Use your language.
I do agree.
Okay. I'm Yaroi. Mustafa Gana Amadu. Studio TVC News, Ikola Lagos in Nero.
Yeah. This song where you say, I'm
That's
here.
in
Oh, I'm Yowa.
your native language. Now speak Hausa and say the same thing in Hausa.
Okay, sunana Mustafa Gana Amadu. Ina yi muku magana daga studio na TVC Continental a Lagos. Ina ce muku barka sannu.
In fact, in Ibibio, Adami Ekere, Mustafa Gana Amodu. So song. Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much.
That's it for today and the week.
We're so in Ijabu.
You say
No.
Ndewo. All right. Many thanks. Thank you. Then, of course, Jude, thank you for another great week.
Thank you so much.
Wale, many thanks for another job done. Thank you. Emeka, come again, as we say. So that will just about do it on the program today. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, we say thank you for another week. Again, we take a needed and well-earned weekend. But view the broadcast, the repeat at 11 tonight, and watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen right now. And of course, our feedback channel remains the same. On behalf of everybody, let me say thank you. I am Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. May God bless Nigeria.